Thank you for joining us on Varsity Media. Start of the second quarter between Plainedge and Bellmore JFK. I'm Gavin Shaw alongside my partner Mike Nelson, the president of the Long Island Metro Foundation, joining you in the second quarter due to technical difficulties, which we are very sorry for. 6-0 lead. I'm losing track. Nearly 7-0 lead for Plainedge here on their senior day. Mike, dominant start for the Red Devils in this one, and they add to it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to tune in the first quarter. But if you're a Bellmore JFK fan right now, you're really not missing much. So they got off to a rough start. Plainedge is off to a hot start, 7-0 already. And let's see if the Bellmore coaches, Coach Cunningham, Coach Walsh, can come up with something for the second quarter.
And that goal put in by Billy Dundon, junior midfield. Let's take another look at it. Just a scrap, a lot of bodies in the area. That almost hockey-style goal, maybe inspired watching the Rangers the other night. Dundon scooping off the carpet, putting it home.
Yeah, it worked for the Rangers, and it seemed to work for Plainedge.
Couple of shots off the mark, but no saves yet for Jack Legalia. Everything Plainedge has put on the cage has gone in. The scoring got started right away with Joe Carbo, a Fairleigh Dickinson commit, about a minute or two into the game. Dom Moscato, star senior, heading to Lincoln Memorial. He got the second goal. Owen Dinellen, top player for Plainedge, 39th goal on the season for the third goal. Back-to-back from Jack O'Connor, another senior, his 34th and 35th goals on the year. And then to cap off a thrilling first quarter, Nico Rodriguez getting some early run. As Plainedge, Mike, we have seen pretty much the whole roster offensively. Every time I look up, there are just new numbers in there.
Yeah, they have a nice balanced attack right now. They're getting everybody involved. It looks like they're going to try to get as many people involved as possible and share the wealth a little bit today.
Yeah, really, really cool to see that from head coach Dan Achatz in just his fifth game running this Plainedge Red Devils program. Had to take over midseason for Joe Ancona. As that rebound goes off the mark, Brian Keaveney had a pretty good look. That's the first save on the day for Jack Legalia, who's having a tough start to this one, but he, for the most part, has been fantastic this year for Bellmore JFK as a junior, coming off a 25 save performance, against Baldwin last week in a 5 overtime thriller that Bellmore JFK won 9-8. Came into this one with a little bit of momentum, and Plainedge has taken it away very quickly.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good year so far. You know, nothing has been his fault so far today. It's just Plainedge kind of being on top of Bellmore. Let's hope he can turn it around, and stop a few more shots before the end of the game.
And there's an interception by Dundon, and he'll rip another shot and another goal for the Red Devils. Yeah, so let's take another look at that shot from Dundon.
Yeah, see on the replay, we were just talking about Legalia having a good day. He just, unfortunately, threw the ball through an outlet pass that was just a little high for his defender. Plainedge was able to, capitalize on the opportunity and put it past him.
Yeah, I don't know if Dan Achatz necessarily knew that the game was going to go this way. I was asking him, anyone off your bench? And he mentioned one or two guys. He mentioned Joe Carbo. He mentioned Jake Anglin, but he said, we're not going super deep. We're kind of focused on our starters, and instead, with the way this one has gone, again, is essentially the whole team getting an opportunity to play here early. And Mike, that's your dream on a senior day, to get a chance for seniors who have poured time into this program, right, and been great teammates and worked their butts off in practice year after year after year. Say, hey, this is your day to shine, and so far it's going away where they can do that.
As a coach, that's a gift on senior day. If you have these games on senior day where you really can't get everybody involved, that's a tough thing to deal with. But it looks like not only seniors today, but all the underclassmen are going to get involved as well.
Yeah, target practice that time for Brian Kelly. Plenty of time to load up the shot, and then coming with some heat to beat Joe Legalia at the top right side of that net.
Well, here you go. He draws a double team, and when you double team somebody, that leaves somebody else open on the far side. It bumped over, passed right straight through there, and number 2 was able to capitalize.
And you meant Kelly, a freshman, so it's certainly not exclusive to seniors. And this is a real make-right game for Plainedge, who has had a frustrating start to Dan Achatz's first-year coaching. Obviously, I mean, Mike, you know this is a long-time coach. Such a, I mean, essentially impossible position to take over midseason of a program, even one that you've been the assistant coach of, comes in and they have 3 straight losses, first to Seaford by a goal, then to Bethpage, or excuse me, they lose to Seaford, then they lose to Bethpage by a goal, they lose to Floral Park in overtime, and then they lose to North Shore in double overtime, and just falling on the thinnest of margins, and all that frustration, I mean, maybe coming to a head today, and everything clicking now for Plainedge.
Yeah, everything putting itself together for Coach Achat. You know, Coach Achat did take over, has had a tough run since he's taken over, but, you know, he's familiar with the program. He's been around for a few years. Hopefully the familiarity with the players that he's taken over is going to benefit him.
And we should note, as an assistant under Joe Ancona, I mean, this is one of the better 4-year stretches in modern Plainedge history. They won the conference in 2019. It was the first time they'd done that since the 1980s. So, I mean, and look, obviously Joe Ancona, a legend, but Dan Achat certainly had a big part in putting that together. And, I mean, you're seeing some of the headway of that. He has aspirations, though, to take this program to an even higher place. I mean, I think he didn't say this specifically, but just seeing where this Plainedge football program has gotten over the last few years and essentially saying, hey, why can't that be us with lacrosse?
Well, you look over in the corner. There's Plainedge youth players over there. There's like a PAL practice happening. Plainedge has done a really good job with the youth program, built from the ground up. So hopefully Coach Achatz, will continue to stay involved and continue to watch his program grow.
As there's another goal on the run that time, a diving finish for Joe Carbo. He got the first goal, and now he has the 10th with 6 minutes and 51 seconds to go in the second quarter.
You know, as a goalie, when the floodgates open, it's a tough thing to pick your head up and stay engaged. Hopefully, young Mr. Legalia will hopefully get a rebound or a bounce that goes his way. 10-0 is really a tough thing to come from, but hopefully Mr. Legalia will come back and have a better second half.
And Mike, obviously, you were a longtime coach at MacArthur. What do you do in that situation when you have a goalie who's really, really struggling? Obviously, it's a position that requires such mental toughness. How do you kind of get a guy back on track?
Well, it's tough, right? So I was a goalie too, and in these situations, I would probably want to run away to my car, but you can't. You can't hide. You got to find it within yourself, and hopefully your team will rally around you, and a few timeouts here, a couple of bounces, and hopefully that gets you back in the game.
Bellmore JFK continuing to battle, fighting off, an attempt from Joe Haywood that time. We should note Bellmore JFK also under the guidance of a first-year head coach, Gerard Cunningham, replacing the legendary Craig Papak, as there's Haywood that time, paying it off on the little turnaround shot. So first goal of the game for Joe Haywood. Already has an assist on the day.
On the replay, he is midi sweeping and drew a slide, and the slide came up from the middle, and there was no number 2 slide. So Haywood was able to capitalize. He was all alone, got his hands free. Nice catch and release.
And this is somewhat of a shocking start here, because Bellmore JFK, I mean, they haven't been a bad team this year. 6-9 on the season for the most part, have been competitive even when playing programs that have more talent on paper. And Gerard Cunningham, I mean, look, he knew what he was up against today with Plainedge. He said, look, we're not going to have a talent advantage for the most part. A lot of guys on the other team have been playing lacrosse longer. We have to outfight them. We have to outgrit them. And Plainedge, on top of having the talent and skill advantage, they have played harder. They've played more focused, and in turn, they've dominated this ball game and continue to. Now a 12-goal advantage with Andrew Picardi, a sophomore, getting it on the action.
Obviously, it's going to take Bellmore a little bit of maybe part of a next season and the year beyond, to get to know each other, right? Coach Cunningham's new, Coach Walsh is new to the program. They both took over for Coach Papak. They're both involved with the youth program, too. I know that they've been running clinics and getting the youth involved in the town, and hopefully, they'll be what Plainedge was a couple of years ago. And hopefully we'll see Bellmore pick that up and become that.
And Gerard Cunningham, I mean, a young guy in his 20s, but already a lot of experience, right? Head coach at Mepham and successful there. They obviously were, I think, in the quarterfinals a year ago. And Bellmore JFK as well has had recent successes. There is another one in transition. Casey Auer, the freshman, his 6th goal on the year.
Well, it's becoming frustrating for Bellmore, and that's a tough thing to watch. You see the body language; they're really kind of with their heads down. They have to find a way to pick it up, and hopefully come back in the second half and play for a little bit of pride.
And again, I want to emphasize, this is a Bellmore JFK team that not only made the playoffs last year, they won a first-round game against Herrick's before losing to Garden City. Obviously, they lost the 2 focal points of their offense with Max Zaransky and Joe Battaglia moving on. They lost star goalie, and Ben Greco is playing college lacrosse now. So those have been hard pieces to replace, but it's not like they haven't been playing well. I mean, taking on a nice Baldwin team the other week, they won in quintuple overtime, which I've never said in my life. Quintuple overtime, Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's the right word for it.
It is now.
Okay, good.
Okay, good job. Losing a guy like Ben Greco in the cage for Bellmore, he kept them in a lot of games. He kept them competitive. I'm not saying that it's the goalie's fault today. It's things are just kind of coming unraveled and it's falling on the goalie. But they still have some players. They have Torchia. And eventually they're going to catch up.
Yeah, I think what surprised me a little bit in the early going here is just the gap in terms of facing off between these two teams. I mean, Hunter Hone on the year, and obviously Plainedge plays a better schedule, and that's certainly part of it. But Plainedge on the year is 59%, or excuse me. Bellmore JFK on the year is 59% on face-off. Plainedge is just 42, and yet Plainedge has, I think, won every single face-off in this game, maybe with the exception of one so far, and that's allowed them to just race out to this 14-0 lead.
Right. One thing that happens in high school lacrosse is when you get to above 12 goals, the clock runs. So it's a running clock from here on out as long as they stay 12 goals above Bellmore. It's another difficult situation to deal with. You want to play. You don't want the game to be over, that quick, but you also don't want it to get really crazy out of hand.
Yes, it was Matthew Barry, not the talented Mr. Rhoda, but the talented Plainedge junior on the finish that time.
Bellmore did a good job on that face-off that time, coming up with the ball, and a rare possession for them right now. Let's see if they can build some confidence and get something going on offense.
So if we've not had a lot of opportunity to talk about their offensive unit, led by Ray Torcha, 25 points, 23 goals, 2 assists, super athletic senior. A lot of their offense is created from him beating his man, drawing a slide, playing out of it, and nearly a throwaway. But the ground ball bat finds its way over to a green jersey, step down shot. No, a fake. Now the shot, and eaten up that time by Vinny Fuentes, who hasn't had much to do, but the senior goalie in the midst of a monster season, 162 saves, 62% stop rate on the year. He's headed to play his college lacrosse at SUNY Purchase.
Yeah, nice save by Fuentes. Another thing that's difficult also, almost just as much as getting a lot of shots, is getting no shots and having to stay awake and stay, in tuned.
Yeah, I mean, you think of the kid in a Little League movie who's like staring at the bug in his glove, and that's kind of what you're left doing as a goalie.
That could be what Vinny's doing right now, but you know what? He stepped up and he made a nice save on that one.
Yeah, Brian, take me into your perspective on this as a goal. Obviously, you love that your team is dominating, but you have to be a little frustrated. Saying like, hey, I was geared up, I was juiced, I was running around pregame, I was ready to roll, and like it's almost like you don't get to play with your friends at that point.
It's games like this is a tough situation for everybody. You don't get a lot out of it on either end.
So a little transition opportunity for Bellmore JFK. It's Dylan Cutler pushing pace. And now recentering to Torcha. So we'll see what he can do.
Torcha's a good player. I've seen him play this year and last. He's very good. He's got a lot of confidence in his skills. He just needs maybe one bounce to get him going today.
And excuse me, it was Nick Sabo, the short stick teammate, pushing it up the field that time. And now Bellmore JFK will hunt for their first goal with a minute to go in this first half. Cutler cut off. As they reset to him. I mean, nice to just give their defense a little bit of a breather that's been on the field essentially this entire game, if nothing else. Little screen game. Cutler from up top. Desperation shot. Easy stuff for Fuentes.
That's a confidence builder for sure for Fuentes.
Now a chance to push transition for Dom Moscato. I mean, H-Hats at this point, he's gone through his whole bench and back to his starters. He said, all right, you guys get some burn. The backups are getting tired.
Yeah. Like you said, Bellmore needs to, every time they get the ball, they need to gain possession. They need to hold on to the ball and make something happen.
Final 12 seconds of this first half. Plainedge chance to tack on one more goal. Doesn't look like they're going to go to the cage. Just running out time here. And that'll do it for half number one. About as dominant as you will ever see in a game between two Nassau County opponents. The Plainedge Red Devils up 14-0 over the Bellmore JFK Cougars. We'll be back in about 10 minutes here on the Varsity Media Sports Network for half number two. You're watching the Plainedge Red Devils Senior Day game on Varsity Media.
Dante does it again! Defensive play. Dante Madaro. Illico! Power move by Yeso steps up and score! A jump shot for Nell! Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. Hey parents, how about a bobblehead for your athlete? Bobbleheads are one of the most preferred personalized gift items today, and it's so easy to order. All you need is a photo of your athlete, a model number from our extensive collection of bobbleheads, and the sculpting process begins. 2 proofs are sent for your approval, and once it's approved, in a few weeks, your bobblehead is on the way. It's that simple. Order your bobblehead today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click catalogs, or call 516-403-2050.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Are you a local...
You are looking live at Edward Byrd Memorial Stadium here for the Plainedge Red Devils Senior Day game between them and the Bellmore JFK Cougars. I'm Gavin Shaw alongside my partner, the newly elected Long Island Lacrosse Hall of Famer, Mike Nelson. Mike, congratulations, and we wanted to remind you that today's game is brought to you by, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Whitekert Realtors Performance Homes. Big time thanks to Whitekert Realtors for sponsoring today's game. Once again, I'm Gavin Shaw alongside Mike Nelson, president of the Long Island Metro Foundation. Mike, you're telling me just elected to the Long Island Lacrosse Hall of Fame. Congratulations. I mean, what was that like for you?
Thank you, Gavin. A culmination of a lot of years, and there was a lot of people to thank. And something like that doesn't happen unless you have a good support system and a lot of friends and a lot of teammates. And I think about all those people.
I mean, yeah, it's an amazing accomplishment, and to your point, it's not just a celebration for you; it's a celebration for everyone in your life who helped you get there.
Oh, sure. You know, it's not about me; it's about everybody that helped me get there. And I wish everybody could have that experience. It was pretty cool.
All right. Well, I'll ask in a few years. All right. let's talk about of course. let's talk about some of the key impact pieces today for Plainedge. We'll take a look at some of their stars who helped get them off to a 14-0 lead here in half one. We start off with Matt Chadwick, talented junior, Ameris commit. He's had just a monster season defensively.
Yeah, not much for him to do today. Looking forward to seeing Mr. Chadwick play today. But since most of the action has been on their offensive end of the zone, we probably see a little more about Owen Donnellan than we have of Matt Chadwick.
Yeah, Matt Chadwick at this point, I mean, he's thinking, I want my 6th goal in the year. 5 goals, 3 assists as a defender. Owen Donnellan, just a monster. Stony Brook commit, 32 goals, 28 assists, 60 points. I mean, what makes him so special?
I think his vision and the way he kind of quarterbacks the offense, everything runs through him. If you don't have a guy that kind of steer your ship in the right direction on offense, then it's really kind of rudderless, right? So Owen steps up. Owen does all of that stuff. He's the quarterback, and he's the catalyst for the offense.
All right, now let's take a look at the full starting lineup for the Plainedge Red Devils. This was a blink and you missed them kind of situation with the way that Dan Achatz has understandably rotated in this game on attack. Owen Donnell and Jack O'Connor, I mean, he had a great first half with 2 goals. Really talented shooter for them. Dom Agavino, just a freshman. One of the few guys who didn't score in the first half, but someone I know we're both really excited about his game.
I'm familiar with the Agavino family, great family. Dom Agavino, as you said, is a freshman. He's just playing lights out right now. His older brother Ryan was an attackman, but now I see him playing LSM. They're playing a little defense now, so it's kind of spreading the Agavino name around the field, which is good for Plainedge, good for them. Look for more the rest of today out of those guys.
Excited to see him get more action. Casey Hour,
Sure.
another freshman at faceoff. He got a goal in this one as well. Really good fighter. Kevin Keaveney, he's on the board. Nick Casino. Dom Moscato, a tough year for Dom, obviously breaking his ankles as a quarterback of the Plainedge football team, but you give him so much credit for battling his way back, just desperately did not want to miss his senior year of lacrosse. He is a goal today, 22 on the season, and he still found a way to make an impact despite not being at 100% this whole season.
It shows you a little bit what he's about, right?
A testament to him and such a key part of this program. The last 4 years, we already told you about Matt Chadwick, Jackson Goronsky, another great defender. I mean, just a real physical force, takes on larger opposing attackmen. Kieran Judge also having a really high-level season as a junior, someone who has grown tremendously, becoming a really important takeaway guy for them. And then a kid whose game you really like, Vinny Fuentes, obviously. For better or worse for Plainedge, he isn't had much to do today, but he's had an incredible senior year.
Yeah. A good year for Vinny Fuentes. Not much action today, but he's had an outstanding year.
And his head coach, Dan Achatz, was saying pregame they feel like he is having an all-county type of season, a SUNY purchase commit. He's kept them in games when they've needed it. He's won them games at certain points this year. He is a really effective player. Now, a little bit belated, but let's take a look at some of the keys to the game in this one, and we can go through how Plainedge has clicked on them. They've certainly controlled the pace.
They have.
They've been as patient on offense as they've needed to be.
Yes.
And when they've had the opportunity, solid ball pressure on defense.
What I like about Plainedge is doing is they're just not shooting the ball from the restraining line and hoping it goes in, right? They're running their offense. They're trying to get other guys involved. They're cutting. They're trying to set themselves up for the playoffs and for the next game.
I think that's a great point. I kind of want to zoom in on it because it's so easy when you're in a blowout situation like this for kids to play almost a little bit more selfishly and like just get into a game and say, this is the one time I'm going to play all year. I want to fire from 20 feet, but they're executing, right?
Right. So a lot of times in games like this, you start to get IGM guys, which means I got mine, right? So as long as they get theirs, then they're happy that they could care less about what the team is doing. Looks like what Plainedge is doing is really getting away from that and trying to get everybody involved. I think just about every goal has been off a pass. Right, it hasn't been just to dodge and a shoot from outside. I think they're trying to get their offense in sync just in time for the playoffs.
All right, so we will step aside and take a quick break. Half number 2 coming up next on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
Just come back at the end of the game. Thank you for joining us back on Varsity Media. Third quarter about to get rolling. Gavin Shaw, Mike Nelson here with you, and it's a 14-0 lead for Plainedge over Bellmore JFK. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties at the start of this one. Did not allow us to cover the first quarter of this game. We're happy to bring you the second as Plainedge continue to roll a 6-0 lead after one and a 14-0 lead at the break. We've talked a lot about the Red Devils. If Mike, if you were hypothetically on this Cougars coaching staff, what are you telling your kids at halftime, and what are you trying to accomplish in the second half?
Well, ball possession. First it's going to start at the face-off X. So if they win a face-off, they got to learn how to keep it and get it to their best guy, which is number 2, Torchia, right? If they're going to get possession and just kind of give it away right away, they can expect more of what happened in the first half.
And have to start competing on face-offs. We didn't get a chance to dive into them, but that was one of their goals coming into the game, to make face-offs 50-50 propositions. And despite the fact, again, that coming into this one, statistically they were better in that capacity coming into the year. They've really, really struggled early in this one. It's Hunter Hone. He's 58% on the year. There you go. That was a 50-50 proposition, but Plainedge able to get the scoop as their wings continue in that battle, but then some nice fight to knock it out of the stick from Finn Lofton, the top defensive player on this Bellmore JFK team. Their head coach, Gerard Cunningham, calls him their best overall player. Unfortunately, spirals over to Plainedge.
Nice
so
save.
they'll get an opportunity. Picardi and Legalia on the precipice of goal, able to stymie the shot.
Nice outlet pass by Legalia also.
Or, excuse me, I think it might be a new goalie in there. We'll confirm that in a sec. Someone in the 20s on the uniform instead of Jack Legalia's 32. We will double-check that. I might have just misseen it. But still, either way, an opportunity for Bellmore JFK to play some offense. Ray Torcha using his speed, baiting a slide. Oh, nice shot fake, stepping down. Bouncer off the mark from Cutter. Time and space, and tickling the twine is Torcha to get Bellmore JFK on the board.
So let's see what happens. If they get some more possessions and get a little more confidence, maybe they could chip away at it. Might be impossible to get 14, but you never know. At least they can make it respectable.
Going to be running time until Bellmore JFK can score a couple here in the second half as we take another look.
Let's see, a shot went wide. Bellmore makes a good job, a good play, corral on the rebound on the back and gets it out front to Torchia. And nice overhand shot, stick side, offside stick. And Gavin, I think that is still Legalia in the cage for Bellmore.
Plainedge, another face-off victory. A celebratory atmosphere here at Plainedge High School, and again, this group of kids following that 2019 conference championship, doing a great job continuing to build momentum in this Plainedge program. Obviously, an area that always seems to have great athletes, has had great football teams over the years, and for whatever reason, historically, just hasn't totally clicked in lacrosse. But under Coach Achads and previously under Coach Ancona, they feel like they're on the right trajectory and heading to a place where, I mean, this lacrosse program could potentially match the heights of their dominant football program.
Like you said, they have athletes, they have football players, they have wrestlers, they have a good youth program. They'll continue to shine.
Transition opportunity for Bellmore JFK, but just a misconnection on what should have been probably a pinpoint catch and shoot. As it was Zach Greenside, just not quite able to handle that. Their leader in points on the season. Nice fight here for Plainedge. Battling up the field was Dom Moscato as he got hit into the table and now under it, getting helped up. And you hope that he's all good, little shaken up. Get a chance to catch his breath. Coming off of, again, a broken ankle that ended his football season. It was supposed to be his year, senior quarterback. On what is a perennial contender in Nassau County. And it was kind of questionable whether he was going to play this year in lacrosse, and he just absolutely refused to miss his senior season fighting his way back.
Listen, you only get one senior year. So obviously Dom, made it a goal and made it happen.
Yeah, it gives you an idea of his resiliency and his just willingness to play through pain, play through discomfort, and just the frustration that comes with not being 100%. Tic-tac-toe passing, and the one-timer on the run. Second goal of the game, or third goal of the game for Joe Carbo.
That play started off a ground ball at midfield by Ryan Agavino, and they were able to move it up the field to a wide-open shooter.
Excuse me, let me confirm. It might have been Billy Dundon on that finish. So here's Joe Carbo sprinting the field. He'll actually make the pass. And then Andrew Picardi, extra look. And it was, in fact, Billy Dundon picking up his third goal of the day.
Yep.
So what a monster effort for Billy Dundon so far, who came into this one with just 3 goals on the year and has matched that total in a little bit more than a half of lacrosse. Plainedge, another chance to run some offense. And we talked a little bit about how you handle this if you're Gerard Cunningham. If you're Dan Achatz, it's an awkward position right up 15-1 because especially when you bring in young kids off your bench, you don't want to tell them, hey, just pass the ball around.
Right.
But at a certain point, obviously, sportsmanship comes into play.
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense, Kevin. What I see them doing now is I see them getting set in their offense and working the ball around, sharing the ball, not standing still. Nobody's dodging 2 or 3 guys that try to get their own goals. You'll see an initiation here. And he'll look to share the ball. That's what you want on your offense. And those are young guys out there getting better.
And I think as an opposing coach, you can't take any issue with that because at a certain point, it's on your defense to go out there and take stops. And I think, to your point, when the frustration comes in, is when they're ISOing a lot and trying to have those highlight reel goals up by 14.
Sure.
So trying to find some spaces.
Nice
Andrew
save.
Picardi, another nice stop by the talented Legalia.
It's going to benefit all the young guys from Plainedge is having a good, strong senior leadership class, right? They've kind of been watching over them and teaching them how Plainedge lacrosse is done.
It's kind of funny. You heard they had a pregame ceremony orchestrated by the great PA announcer here, Robert Anderson, and he was going through all the seniors asking about their favorite memory at Plainedge, and all of them said our freshman season, our freshman season, our freshman. And obviously that was just a great year on the field for Plainedge, but there is something magical about how you start your career, and I know all the kids on this Plainedge team appreciated the senior leadership on that team. I mean, all those guys from that incredible, like once-in-a-generation Long Island championship football team, and they're trying to pay that back this year, and it's kind of cool to have a situation like this where they're up by enough that the freshmen and seniors get to share the field together, and those bonds kind of get to come into play in real time because you don't always get that with not a lot of freshmen playing.
Absolutely. It's a great analogy. The seniors, you're not going to get anywhere if you don't have a strong leadership class out of your seniors. and they're paying it back now, as you said.
That was Jake Anglin trying to go coast to coast. He's a really talented senior, just done a nice job on faceoff this year, really battling, generating 50-50 balls, giving the Plainedge Wings an opportunity. Also effective offensively, a goal and an assist on the season as he was looking for another one with that long stick.
Jake's a guy that moved around a little bit on the field. He's been an attackman at times. He's been a midfielder at times. He's been a faceoff guy. And, in my opinion, it just makes you a better player. His dad is also one of the assistant coaches now for Coach A. Schatz for Plainedge. I guess he stepped up when Coach Ancona had to leave.
There's Bellmore looking for their second goal. Josh Polinsky into the game, missing that shot. This is one of Bellmore's better possessions of the game, really working the ball around. Player and ball movement. Green side trying to get off the Schneid. Jump shot, and that one's corralled by, is it still Fuentes? It is still Fuentes.
Yeah, nice save by Fuentes. Nice save, nice outlet. Got Anglin carrying the ball up to the far restraining line. Let's see what Jake decides to do here.
A couple of fakes. Oh, and lasers one into the back of the net. A dirty finish for Jake Anglin, who, to your point, has had to do so much in so many different positions for this team over the years. Nice to see him have a moment on senior day.
Yeah, he obviously had confidence in his stick and his offensive abilities, and he got his senior day goal. Good for him.
Let's take another look. I mean, what do you see here? This is one of the goals of the day.
So he paused and threw a kind of like a stick fake there and, froze the defender and wound up one-on-one with the goalie.
And it's the benefit of having that long pole, that high cross-your-body shot, especially from close. And I mean, I assume as a goalie, that's a nightmare to defend.
Yeah, it's a tough read. Tough read for any goalie.
Is Nick Casino
Legali has played a little better lately. He's had a couple of saves recently. That one was just a little tough to handle.
Yeah, and again, you look at 16 goals, easy to blame the goalie, but that is a team-wide breakdown when you give up that many goals.
Sure. But you have to give him credit. His head is still up. He's still, he's still competing, still battling. So that's all you want.
So Dylan Cutler. And look, we haven't had a lot of time to talk about Plainedge defensively, but a lot of key seniors on that side of the field that have just helped this team maintain a real consistency this year.
And that starts with Fuentes, obviously. Right?
Yeah, he has been a true quarterback of the back end of this defense, and sometimes for people who aren't involved in the sport and didn't play this sport, you underestimate, I mean, just how essential a goalie can be to coordinate everything. Obviously gets a unique viewpoint back there, and Fuentes with some younger guys like Jackson Goronsky on defense, who's a junior, Matt Chadwick, who's a junior, Kieran Judge, who's a junior. He has been essential in quarterbacking that unit.
You need somebody to lean on. You need somebody with experience, somebody, that's been around and been through all the battles. Having that experienced guy to lean on is crucial.
Wow, that was a window of someone trying to go 1-on-5. We mentioned that wasn't happening very much, but Liam Pfeffer said, hey, I don't get on the field too much. I am going to cook right now.
Gavin, he just wanted you to say his name.
He succeeded.
Yeah.
I'll say it again every time he does it. And on the run, a goal for Bellmore JFK. And pushing pace that time. Coming off the bench was Polinsky. Or, excuse me, that was 23. Chase Goldman on the finish. A little hard to make out those three. It's a tight 3. It looks like an 8 almost, but Goldman, that is his 12th goal on the year. And he is someone, you talk to Gerard Cunningham. I don't know if he's more excited about anyone on this team than Chase Goldman, calling the best stick on the whole offense, a Canadian-style attackman who had a crazy game winner against Baldwin when the ball popped up the turf, and in one motion, it was almost like a hockey shot. He just slapped it into the net, just absurdly skilled for an underclassman as
Well, yeah, he's a sophomore, so obviously Coach Cunningham is going to keep him around. I'll look to build, future offense around him.
Yeah, and again, there are pieces, there are reasons for optimism here for Bellmore JFK, as we'll thank some of our sponsors here. Lucky enough to have Lacrosse Be the Best, LC, BTB fosters a competitive environment focused on player and team development. We build our players around a belief in hard work, consistency, discipline, and perseverance. Our training, knowledge, and passion come with us to every practice. BTB is all about developing our athletes to their highest potential, and of course it is run by Coach Dan Achatz. And if you want to get a chance to participate, you can look at the Be the Best lacrosse camps run for boys and girls from the class of 2029 to 2036. Session 1 is June 27th and 28th, and then July 1st through 3rd at Plainedge Park, 9 a.m. through 1 p.m., and then Session 2, July 8th through 12th at Holy Trinity High School, 9 a.m. through 1 p.m. Last year they got over 300 campers, and spots are limited. They give you elite coaches, drills for all skill levels, giveaways, scrimmages, speed and agility, team building activities, goalies, siblings, early bird discounts available more. So don't miss out on Long Island Best Summer Lacrosse. BeTheBestLI.com. And we'll let you know in just a second, the next stoppage, where you can email to participate. As that was another opportunity on the goal. Nico Rodriguez looking for his second finish of the day. Also had a nice assist in that first half.
Looked like might have gotten a piece of that.
Going to be interesting to see where this Plainedge team shapes up when it comes to the playoffs. Obviously, last year they put together a really nice run, pushing Wantagh, their rivals, to the brink in the Nassau County semifinals. Where I'm not sure how many people thought the Red Devils were going to pull that off, and they came darn close in what was a thriller against the Wantagh team that eventually gave Manhasset, the eventual state champions, a pretty solid game. Plainedge obviously losing a lot off that team from a year ago, but certainly still plenty of talent, and they feel like they're starting to play their best lacrosse at the right time.
Sure, I was actually at that game, and it was a really good game to watch. But, Plainedge has players. They had players graduate. They still have players that, they have a good feeder program, and they're just going to keep reloading every year.
Owen's older brother, I believe Braden Donnellan on that team a year ago, really key piece. There's another one put in for the Red Devils.
I believe Braden Donnellan was the Rookie of the Year for the conference at Adelphi. Outstanding year. And
Owen filling in his shoes, and a breakout day continues for young Billy Dundon. His fourth to match his jersey number on the day. Time, space, hands were free. Low shot to beat Legalia.
I like what Plainedge is doing. They're working for their goals. They're not just, just like you said, hauling off and shooting from the outside. They're trying to get better, and they're trying to get everybody involved.
And again, Bellmore JFK today, obviously a tough day, not one they're going to look back on finally, but a lot of times with the first-year head coach, so much talent lost from a year ago, that's going to be the story. You're going to have that inconsistency where you come off a high like that 9-8, once again, quintuple overtime victory over Baldwin, and there are going to be some lows.
Sure.
Where you run into a great team with an established culture, and you end up on the wrong side of it. But all part of the building process here for Gerard Cunningham, replacing Craig Papak, who's been the coach here the past 30 years.
I think Bellmore is headed definitely in the right direction. Coach Cunningham is definitely one that's going to be engaged and committed to building the program, and he'll be around for a while. They're already having a better second half than they had the first half. So, I give them credit for not folding up. At least they're competing.
And well defended here by Plainedge, forcing the turnover and breaking the other way for the Red Devils. Ryan Agavino, a junior, and not able to put it home that time, but nice opportunity turning defense into offense. Some speed coming the other way. This is where Torch is so explosive in transition. Ambitious effort trying to center the pass. Not able to put it away that time. Was Matt Sarfati. And racing back the other way. Here comes Haywood.
Good look up.
So some chances in this
Transition,
fourth quarter.
4-3.
Can they leverage it? Uncorking a shot, not that time. Plainedge really.
I like to see Mr. Agavino out there on the break. Let's see what he does here.
Low bounce
Almost.
shot, not that time.
Nice save.
Really well done.
The nice save there by Legalia. Plainedge has the ball again. Feet inside. Legalia standing tall. The ball just went over the top of the cage. Plainedge takes the ball out behind.
Shot on the run. Oh, easy stuff that time for Joe Carbo. As he has had a special day as a senior. Again, moving on to Fairleigh Dickinson after this year, and his last regular season home game on this field, a hat trick. And we want to thank one of our great sponsors one more time. Thank you to our sponsor, Weichert Realtors Performance Homes. Shout out to our buddies over at Weichert as Plainedge goes up 18-2, just a little over 6 minutes to go here, running clock. And this is one of those moments, if you're Gerard Cunningham and you're Bellmore JFK, you're maybe a few years down the road when things are clicking and you're in the midst of, 10-4, 10-5 season, you look back at this game and say, hey, we built it up from there, and we were able to figure it out and recover. And if you're Plainedge, maybe you look at this game as the start of a run in the Nassau County playoffs. Again, they have the talent to do it. Playing in Class C, and obviously Wantagh is so good this year, but the boogeyman is gone, at least for this season. Manhasset up in B, competing with Southside, competing with Garden City, and I think that is part of where Dan Achatz is coming from when he talks about this program. Having a higher ceiling, it's kind of the story of 100 years of Long Island lacrosse. For so many teams, you could be good, you could be great, you could be average, and no matter what your season is ending at the hands of a Garden City, at the hands of a Manhasset, at the hands of a Cold Spring Harbor, even if you're having a historically great year. But with Manhasset moving up, at least for now, that opens up a window for Plainedge and Wantagh, of course, to get out of Nassau County and potentially get off Long Island playing a state championship.
It opens up for more than a few teams. It's like you said, it was frustrating, getting to a certain level and really having a good year and then running into that wall. That's been the toughest part for a lot of teams for a lot of years. Maybe it's opened up for the seed teams this year.
And you even think of a Wantagh team that was so good a year ago, and it was never really a window. That's an awesome save by Legalia on the doorstep that time, shutting down a point-blank look.
That's a great save by Legalia. Ryan Agavino had a nice catch and release on that one. Ryan was an attackman in the past, and you could see his stick skills translate there. Also a pretty good hockey player. So he has got a nose for the goal for sure.
Tell me a little bit more about Dom, just a freshman, but why is Plainedge so excited about his game?
I think Dom is kind of like more of a complete player. And more of a feeder and a dodger from the attack position. I think I'm looking at Ryan Agavino with a long pole. I think that's whoever came up with that was genius. And it also opens up a spot for Dominic as well.
He's had a great freshman year, 11 goals, 9 assists, only starting the last 5 games, but he has been super productive since getting that opportunity.
Yep. So that's Coach Ashat's, kind of knowing his players, been from being around for a few years and moving them around to where he needs them. Anglem moved a little bit to another position, so did Agavino, and right now it's paying dividends.
Jeff England getting a chance to get into the game, handling the ball there.
Yep.
And let's take a second and just mention every senior on this Plainedge roster, because they've all contributed in some form or fashion to this victory and this season. So just going through it, obviously Joe Haywood, what an incredible day he's had today with a couple of goals, few assists. We mentioned already Joe Carbo, a hat trick. He's been awesome. Of course, Dom Moscato, as there is a Bellmore JFK finish, just squeezing that one in for Bellmore JFK. Big number 24, Fred Farber, excuse me. Let's take another look. Dodging between two defenders on the run. That was kind of an awkward angle. That was a really tough finish by Farber. Just cutting horizontally, able to put in the back of the net. But want to continue talking about the Plainedge senior class of Dom Moscato. I mean, shout out to him battling through that ankle injury. Still had a monster senior season. Nico Rodriguez, he got the opportunity to play today, and he's had 2 goals. He's been really solid for the Red Devils this entire year. Jack O'Connor, I mean, just a stud, and we didn't get to see it today just because they've been up by so much this entire game. But, I mean, on the season, their second leading goal scorer with 35, had 2 early, 42 points on the season. And he is just a game changer for this team, an elite shooter from up top. And when he's on, he can get a hat trick in a half.
Sure.
And it just totally opens up a defense and allows them to get their inside cutting game going.
Yeah, I agree. He's been doing that for a few years for Plainedge. It's going to be tough for them to lose him and some of the other seniors, but you can see they're already building up for the future.
Yeah, and obviously, as we keep saying, still some games to go. Some season isn't over yet for this Plainedge group. They have aspirations of winning Nassau County this year, despite a choppy start to this season. Kevin Keaveney, another senior who's been excellent, 9 goals, 14 assists on the season. And has become a leader as a senior, and just has this innate ability. I mean, you look at those 9 goals, and you're like, all right, that's not impressive total. Like he is just an hyper unselfish kid. In big moments is when he tends to look for his own offense and score.
Yep. And when it comes down to playoff time, they're going to be leaning on him.
A 14 assist guy who can invert and be such an awesome creator. Legalia loses the ball on the precipice of the goal inside the final 40 seconds here. A couple more seniors we wanted to shout out. Jake Anglem, we were talking about him, coach's son, and I mean it's so cool to see him get a goal today and get rewarded for 4 years of just doing everything for this program. And a lot of times when a guy plays different positions like that, it's not always ideal for a kid because he can't get into a rhythm, but it's also, you look at the kid and say, that's someone who's willing to do whatever the team needs.
Yeah, I think unselfishly, that's what he looked at as helping the team. And of course, we can't forget about Vincent Fuentes. Right, the backbone of the whole team.
Yeah, he has been just awesome today, and I mean dominant in this 18-3 win for Plainedge. Liam Pfeffer, also a senior. Joseph Mule, also a senior. Those 2 guys, backbones defensively. I loved Pfeffer coming into this game and saying, you know what, I get one shot at this. I am hunting. I am going for my own. You can put 5 guys on top of me. It's not going to stop me. It eventually did. But it took about 5 guys to slow him down, Mike. I mean, he was a bully out there. He wanted that goal.
He was going after it. He was getting his, and he wanted Gavin to say his name on TV, and mission accomplished.
Liam, you play like that. I will say it over and over again whenever you want. And we wanted to mention Be the Best Lacrosse Club one more time. Big thanks to Coach Achatz. I mean, giving back to his seniors, right? Sponsoring this game, and that is a testament to the kind of coach he's going to be, the kind of program guy he's going to be. Again, if you want to join the Be the Best Lacrosse Camp, available for boys and girls classes of 2029 through 20, or maybe that's the phone number. I might have been messing it up. 2036 through 2029. Again, session 1 is June 27th and 28th at July 1st and 3rd at Plainedge Park, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Session 2, July 8th through 12th at Holy Trinity High School, 9 a.m. through 1 p.m. Last year, they had over 300 campers. Spots are limited. You don't want to miss out on Long Island's best summer lacrosse camp, so contact them at BeTheBestLI.com. You can email info@BeTheBestLI.com or call 516-659-6337. Again, that's 516-659-6377. Or hit them up on Instagram at BeTheBestLI. And I mean, you see what Coach H-Chats can do, right? An 18-3 win. He certainly knows what he's doing with his Plainedge program, and a great option to help your kid reach their potential and eventually end up as a Plainedge Red Devil.
And I bet a bunch of kids came up through there. So he's got a good thing in place, a good thing set up for the future.
All right, we want to thank one more sponsor before we wrap up here. Talk about our good friends. Mike, you're one of them at the Long Island Metro Lacrosse Foundation. The mission of the Long Island Metropolitan Lacrosse Foundation is to spread the positive spirit of lacrosse and support the highest ethical standards for all participants through annual initiatives included targeting grants, scholarship programs, lacrosse educational clinics, and events to raise awareness and resources in support of the game. Mike, I know for you this is kind of an opportunity to give back to the sport that you've loved your whole life. As the president of the Long Island Metro Lacrosse Foundation, programs that they support and organize are Shootout for Soldiers on Long Island, National Schoolgirls, Team Long Island, the Hall of Fame Outreach Program, Lax Like a Girl Tournament, High School's Unsung Hero Awards, High School's Founders Cups, scholarships, 9/11 Memorial at Farmingdale State, the LI Metro Cup, the NCAA Division I game will have that in 2025, wheelchair and special needs lacrosse clinics, USAL Level 1, 2, and 3 coach certifications, officials, observation programs, support all local youth organizations, including the Nassau-Suffolk PAL League. And Mike, can you give us a little history on how the Long Island Metro Lacrosse Foundation came to be? And I know I went into it a little bit, but I mean, what makes it so essential to supporting lacrosse on Long Island?
So what makes it so important about, as far as the game on Long Island is, as you can see, we have a lot of different programs. We're touching a lot of different types of lacrosse. Boys lacrosse, girls lacrosse. We have lacrosse for special needs kids. We have lacrosse for veterans. Anybody that's starting a program, anybody that needs help launching a program, contact us. We're more than happy to help you out.
And I think that's what makes it such an amazing program, right? It's access for everyone for this incredible sport that is so essential to the culture here on Long Island, and you guys are making sure, like, hey, no one's left out of that.
Nope. No, everybody should play, no matter what, your background, your ability, your disability, how much money you have, how much money you don't have. It doesn't matter. In our eyes, everybody's equal. We're all equal stakeholders in the game, and we're looking to support everybody that wants to play.
Yeah, that's incredible, and that's what makes the Long Island Metro Lacrosse Foundation such an essential part of the sport here on the island. So I want to thank you for that, Mike. Thank you for joining me today. Yeah. And we want to thank our entire Varsity Media crew, including our executive producer, Ben Turch, and our technical director, Becca Kazaks, on camera, Kevin Catalinato, Ron Pierre. I'm Gavin Schultz, signing off here from Plainedge High School, a dominant